Hello, you're watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sasha Farbach. Now, protests have erupted across Ukraine after President Volodymyr Zelenskyy signed a controversial law that significantly weakens the independence of the country's anti-corruption watchdogs. Now, demonstrations, some of the largest since the full-scale invasion by Russia, have raised concerns both domestically and internationally. As Ukrainians take to the streets, we explore the implications of this move on the nation's fight against corruption and its relationship with the West. Joining us now to discuss it all is Oleksiy Goncharenko, Ukrainian MP, European Solidarity. Good to have you on the program.
Hello.
Oleksiy, now the president has said this justification here, it's about removing Russian infiltration. Do you think that's a valid point here? Is that justified?
No, it's absolutely not a valid point. It's just trying to find some reasons and to show some reasons. But I mean, is it possible that some of anti-corruptional bodies, representatives are infiltrated by Russians? Maybe there are some Russian agents. It is possible. I don't say that it is impossible. But who can explain me why? To stop Russian influence, you need to destroy independence of these bodies. Mm-hmm. So there is secret service in Ukraine. Investigate these people who are Russian agents, prosecute them, no questions. But happening something opposite. President Zelenskyy just tries to take complete control over these anti-corruptional bodies. And this is a big problem because corruption is something which is possible and which can be done by the government. So those who are fighting against corruption should not be dependent from the government because in other case, they would not be effective. So I think the real reason is that President Zelenskyy, unfortunately, tries to increase his power, which is already almost absolute in Ukraine, and at the same time tries to protect his cronies, his entourage, because the last, what was done by anti-corruptional bodies, it was suspicion against Vice Prime Minister Chernyshov, who was very close to Zelenskyy official, politician.
Mm-hmm. Now, you said also as well, I mean, this is something where many have criticized the president, and we've seen and continue to see the protests also on the street across Ukraine, also internationally. But I want to dig into a little bit more. What precisely, you said this is an overreach by him, this is a power grab, but it seems sort of out of character. What has come to this point in your mind that Zelenskyy has even chosen to go down this path and even push this reform?
That's a good question. The problem is that, unfortunately, that is not something which came to us from the blue, like it said. So, unfortunately, there are autocratic tendencies in Ukraine already for many months. And Zelenskyy was becoming more and more autocratic, not yesterday, but it was happening month after month. We were not speaking about this loudly because we didn't want to hurt the country in any way, because definitely the largest challenge, the biggest challenge for Ukraine is Russian aggression. But the way how Zelenskyy, he probably decided that he's Messiah. I don't know. Power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And unfortunately, he lost understanding that this Ukrainian resilience is resilience of Ukrainian people, not just by him personally. And all this hype around him personally made him believe that he's, I don't know, like very, very special. And that is a problem. And he was increasing his control over media, over local authorities. All opposition is under hard pressure. Constitutional court doesn't work in Ukraine. Almost all law enforcement bodies were under complete control and martial law time. And the only one which was not under complete control was anti-corruptional bodies. But I think people you are showing now protests, thousands of people were yesterday on the streets in Ukraine. They are protesting not just against this law, but in general, they feel this backsliding and that Ukraine is losing democracy. And that is something which is unacceptable for Ukrainians, because we are paying so high price for many years to be democratic, to be free, to be part of Europe. And we will not give opportunity to take it from us to Russians, and we will not give opportunity to any politician from inside the country to take our freedom.
Mm-hmm. You're also saying you've paid a very high price indeed. And I'm just curious what you think all of this obviously has connections to the mindset of the people. As you said, young people and just generally Ukrainians are upset about this, and quite rightly so. What kind of impact will this have on the psyche also of soldiers, also in the war effort on the front line? How do you think, they're fighting, as you said, for a European future. We have now this corruption issue. How is that interpreted by soldiers on the front?
I can't say on behalf of all soldiers, but as I know, I speak with many of them. I have friends there. They are very concerned, and they're saying we are protecting the country from external threat. You, speaking about politicians and people who are not fighting now, you should protect the country from internal threat. So that's what's happening. And those with whom I speak, they support very much this protest. And many people who are on the streets yesterday, the day before yesterday, many people, these young people, they have these, made on the paper, just handmade some slogans and things like this. And many are writing, "My father is at war," or even sometimes, unfortunately, "My father was killed for free Ukraine. So I will not let anybody make Ukraine similar to Russia." So I think this is a general mood. And I hope that President Zelenskyy will realize that it was a very big mistake and he should stop it immediately. He should cancel this law. And in general, he should change his attitude, and he should respect democracy, not trying just to become an emperor.
Mm-hmm. Also talking about changing attitudes, I mean, we've had also quite a strong reaction from the European Union, also European and Western allies. In fact, the Enlargement Commissioner for the EU, Marta Kościusz, in Warsaw, actually speaking to TVP World as well. Foreign Minister Sikorski of Poland also very strong words against this law, saying this should be a reverse course. If it isn't reversed, what kind of damage does this do to the relationship and the path of Ukraine into the European Union, in your mind?
Definitely, it is very harmful already, and quicker it will be resolved better. It's super important for us, our European allies, because it is the war, and we need all support. But at the same time, part of our support to Ukraine is our European integration. And we already see that what's happening right now, and just last month, again, it's not something separate. Before the government refused to appoint the person who was chosen on competition to be chief of Bureau of Economical Security, then there was prosecution of activists, and so it is a number of events happening just during last month or 2 months. And already I can tell you that unfortunately we see that the negotiations, the clusters, which should be open to make a next step, because we are now candidate to European Union. Next step is negotiations and clusters. We should go one by one. And already we see that they are not opened. Already we see that we are losing tempo and time because our European allies and partners, they don't understand what's going on. So I hope Europe also will help us in this, because unfortunately inside Ukraine, we don't have leverages, real leverages to influence. We can go to the streets, we can speak, but not much more. We can't have elections physically because of Russian aggression. It's just impossible. And that's why we need support from Europe, just to explain to Zelenskyy that it is unacceptable and he should stop.
Mm-hmm. You're saying elections are impossible at this point in time, but what do you think of some people now? As you said, there are tendencies of autocratic movements by Zelenskyy. Are certain people going to be calling for elections again now because of this issue? Do you see that now coming to the fore again?
It's in any way impossible. There is no sense to call. I'm not a supporter of President Zelenskyy, but we can't have elections. It's physically impossible in our security situation. So we will have elections after the end of hostilities. So, but to end hostilities, we need to defend. We need to be resilient. But to be resilient, we need to defend democracy, because small democracy can win over big autocracy. Small autocracy would be swallowed by a bigger one sooner or later. So for Ukraine to protect democracy, it's absolutely equal to protect our country, to protect our independence. So that is very connected. And only after this we could have elections. And I told before, not many people believed me, but I think now more people in the West understand this. I doubt that President Zelenskyy would be re-elected when the elections will happen. But once again, for the moment, we can't have elections.
Mm-hmm. And given, I mean, this is all coming up really fast, and we've already assessed and looked at some of the strong reaction from the West, from European partners. But what are the options now? What in your mind will happen these next 24 hours or so on this issue? Will Zelenskyy revoke this? What is the legal path forward? Is he going to stay the course? What are the options here, and what's your best assessment what's happening next?
We have good symptoms. Yesterday evening, Zelenskyy said that he will prepare a new draft of law about anti-corruptional bodies, which will, and independence of these anti-corruptional bodies will be part of this draft. We haven't seen it for the moment, so I'm not sure what he's speaking about. And to be frank with you, I don't believe in his clear intentions, but I think he realized, I think he was very surprised with these protests, and I think he realized that it's something which will not go, he will not succeed in this. I think he realized this, and I hope that now he will really prepare and the bill about restoring of independence of anti-corruptional bodies. That's the only legal path, because unfortunately the law which ruined their independence, he signed just the same day it was voted, with an absolutely unbelievable speed. So now the only way is to make a new law, and he said yesterday that he's going to do this. But we don't know for the moment any other details. So I think it's important to continue to put pressure on him, both from inside and from outside, just to resolve this issue.
Right. So indeed, tense days for President Zelenskyy, and indeed for Ukraine. We'll be watching closely. Look, thank you. Always a pleasure. Oleksiy Goncharenko there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. That concludes World Talks. My name is Sasha Farbach. We'll stay tuned. Much more coming up right here on TVP World. Goodbye.